Okay, about 20 more seconds and then we'll stop and I will share the results with you. All right, great. So I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to share the results with you. And here are our results. So how often do I procrastinate? Many of us said sometimes, some people said rarely, and some people said often. I put off tasks that are difficult or I don't like often, sometimes, rarely. We see that 43% of the people said they do procrastinate, they do put off things that they don't like or are difficult. I feel stressed and overcommitted because of all the things I need to do. Overwhelmingly, sometimes 14% said all the time, some said rarely, and some said not at all. And then interruptions. I'm always interrupted, so I can't finish anything often, all the time, 14%. Often 29%, sometimes 43%, rarely 14%, and not at all 0%. So it just gives you a little view of how you're feeling about goal setting. It's always good to reflect and think of where you are in terms of certain things. And tonight, we want you to be able to really reflect on how you're setting goals, how you're meeting those goals, and are you able to stick with those goals? Okay. And so again, if you're just joining me, my name is Marie Hall, and I am the owner of Ruby Mac Learning Academy, where we nurture bright young minds. I am also an education consultant. So I work with adults for professional development in different schools and child care centers, trying to leverage employees' skills. All right. And so that is a little bit about me. This organization actually helps marginalized and disenfranchised children as well. And so I offer free tutoring to those students in those particular areas who actually attend Title I schools. And I get support from people just like you giving donations, and your donations are tax deductible. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As we get started, I always like to see, how are you coming to this webinar? How are you feeling tonight? Are you tired? Are you nervous? Are you worried? Are you feeling comfortable? Are you feeling a little uneasy? How are you coming to this webinar tonight? So at the top of your screen, you should see a button that says View Options. And if you click on that, you will see a drop-down box, and it will say Annotate as one of the options. If you click on that Annotate button, then you can choose a tool and just click where you're feeling. If you don't have it or you don't see the annotation button, please use the chat and drop in the questions and answers. How are you feeling tonight? And I can tell you, I'm feeling excited. I see someone said they're tired. Oh my goodness, tired. Well, I hope that I can give you some energy tonight and make you feel a little pepped up. Somebody said they're feeling happy. I like that happiness. All right. And then we have some others coming through as well. Someone said they're happy. Awesome. Happy. So just send air hugs to those people that are tired. Someone said they're relaxed. And so we see that if you do this, I want you to feel a little excited. I'm very excited to be giving you this information and sharing with you tonight. And hopefully you take away some good nuggets from here. And that you can put them into practice right away. So I've sent you all 2 documents this evening that you can use right away after this webinar to help jumpstart you into meeting some of your goals and objectives that you have for your life. If you are not working in a building, this is the perfect opportunity. If you're at home and you're working from home and you're using your computer, this is the perfect opportunity now to do your goal setting, to put some things in motion and begin to really, really work out your plan for your life that you want to live. So the outcomes for this webinar, I can understand how to make a goal that I can reach. I can make a specific and measurable goal, and I can follow a plan that is realistic and timely to reach my goal. And so tonight, I just want you to know that if you have any questions, again, put them in the questions and answers box, and then I will try to answer them as best I can. But I want you to know tonight, I'm going to specifically teach you how to make a SMART goal. Now, if you have been working for a number of years, maybe you've heard this buzzword before, maybe you've used SMART goals at work, or maybe when you used them at work, you really didn't understand them. And so now I'm going to try to make it a little more understandable and relatable to you. So what are your goals? Firstly, I want to let you know that there are 3 different types of goals that you should have. Everyone should have at least 3 different types of goals. The first goal is a process goal. A process goal is an action that you're putting in motion to achieve something. The second type of goal that you should always be working on is a performance goal. How are you going to complete this task? And then the last type of goal that you should have is an outcome goal. How are things going to turn out? How am I going to get from point A to point B, and what are the steps in between there? So as I'm talking tonight, I want you to really think about what goals are you trying to accomplish, and how soon are you trying to accomplish them, and what is it going to take for you to actually accomplish these goals? So you're going to be looking at, do you need resources? What people are involved? Okay, how much money do I have to spend? Is money even involved? And so I want you to keep those things in the back of your head as we begin to talk about SMART goals. Now, when you're making a SMART goal, it's very important to know that you need to make not only a short-term goal, but you also should be looking at making long-term goals. You need to write them down. We know that anything that you want to get done, you have to write it down, and then not only write it down, but put it in a place that you're going to see all the time, that it's going to remind you, I need to be doing A, B, and C every day, if that is part of your goal. How many of you have a planner? You can just put that in the chat for me. How many have a planner? I have a planner. I've had one for years. Did I ever use the planner? Absolutely not. I got that beautiful planner and it sat on my desk, or it was in my purse, or it was in my backpack, and I never used the planner. And first of all, the planner, it didn't really help me, because it was more like, okay, I'm gonna pencil this in, but it didn't make me think about, oh, I actually need to do something with this. I read a book once by Napoleon Hill called Think and Grow Rich. And part of his strategy was to write down what it was that you want to accomplish and look at it every day. And that's the same thing with developing your SMART goal, is that you have to look at it every day. Now, you can't just look at it. You have to look at it and then take a plan of action as well. Okay, because just looking at it is not going to get you anywhere. Like I remember on mine, I put, I want to be a millionaire. And I looked at that thing every day. How many of you have vision boards or have completed a vision board? I've done vision boards. I kept it in my nice room, my bedroom. I looked at it every day, but nothing was taking shape. Nothing was getting accomplished because all I was doing was looking at it. I never put anything into action. I never had a goal. And so tonight, we're going to get you to the point where you can actually put your goals into action. And I see that some people said they had a vision board and a planner. Some people had planners. Honey, let me tell you, I have had all those things and nothing transpired. I was still in the same spot I was a year later. And a year later, I was doing another vision board with the same exact thing on it. All right, somebody said, I have several vision boards. Okay, and have you done anything with those vision boards? That's what I want you to think about tonight. So tonight, let's look at a short clip on SMART goals.
Goal setting is a powerful tool in increasing productivity. In fact, setting goals can increase your productivity by 11 to 25%.
Oops, sorry.
Goal setting is a powerful tool in increasing productivity. In fact, setting goals can increase your productivity by 11 to 25%. But actually setting and working towards goals can be challenging. So let's get smart about goals. S. Specific. Ask yourself what you want to accomplish. And most importantly, why? M. Make it measurable. Are you able to tell when you've reached your goal? A. Attainable. Goals should stretch you so you feel excited, but within your current ability. R. Relevant. Set goals that are going to positively impact your life. Does this goal fit in with your other life's goals and dreams? T. Time-based. A goal with a time deadline will create a sense of urgency and give you the energy you need to complete it. Finally, once you achieve your goal, it's time to celebrate and set the next goal.
So I'm going to start with this quote by Stacey Abrams. No matter what I do, I ask myself 3 questions. What do I want? Why do I want it? And how do I get it? These 3 questions are so important for you tonight when you're thinking about what your goals are. What do I want? Why do I want it? And how do I get it? Because when I was doing those vision boards, I knew what I wanted. I knew why I wanted it, but I didn't really put any thought into how I was going to get it or what steps I was going to do to make sure that I got the ball rolling. And if I did know how I was going to get it, I didn't finish it through to fruition. And so now tonight, I want you to really think about these 3 things. What do I want? Why do I want it? And how do I get it? Creating SMART goals. A SMART goal must be specific. If you watch the video, you saw the guy, his goal was to exercise and to be able to do at first 100 pull-ups. Now, I don't know how realistic that was, depending on how much shape he was in, but you definitely want your goal to be specific. You also want it to be measurable. You want it to be attainable. You want your goal to be realistic, and you want your goal to be timely and tangible. And now we're going to break each one of those things down, because when you are making a goal, it is like a living, breathing document. It is meant to be evaluate it. It is meant for you to go back and reflect upon what you've done so far, and have you made any progress, and what you need to change. Okay, and so your goals are living, they're breathing, and they're always changing depending on where you are in the process of meeting your goal. And along the way, you should be recognizing what you have accomplished and celebrating those small steps along the way. So, crafting specific goals, developing a defined specific goal gives you an opportunity to actually reach it. And so, I gave you an example here. I wrote a book, and so here's my example. I will write a book. Well, that's a very general goal. But more specifically, if you're going to write a book, I will write a book in 6 months by writing 30 minutes every day. The more specific you are about your goal, the better you are going to go ahead and reach that particular goal. So you really want to make your goal very, very detailed about how you're going to reach that goal. Because just saying, I'm going to write a book, but you don't have a finish date, you don't have a start date, and you don't say how you're going to accomplish this goal. And so I can tell you right now, I have journals and journals full of books that I've written or half started and didn't finish. And so now I'm in the process of getting them all published. I'm publishing my 3rd book. And so I want you to know that anything that you put as a goal can be accomplished, but you have to have an action plan. You have to have steps that you're going to take to actually reach that goal. And it could be anything. Maybe it is you wanted to lose weight and you kept saying, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get on this diet. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But you never lost the weight, or you got discouraged along the way. And that may be because you didn't have an action plan. You didn't make it specific enough to say, well, I want to lose, and start very small. Don't have it way out here where you can't obtain the goal. Make it very small. So maybe start at 1 month with the weight loss. I'm going to lose 5 pounds in 1 month from May to June. And these are the things that I'm going to do in this 1 month. I'm going to drink 5 glasses of water a day. I'm going to walk 30 minutes 3 times a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I'm going to eat no sugar. Well, if through the month you see, oh, I might not make it, that wasn't a realistic goal for me to say I'm going to lose 5 pounds, you want to go back and adjust that goal. You want to go back and say, well, it wasn't really realistic for me to say I want to lose 5 pounds, but I'm going to adjust this to 3 pounds. And maybe I wasn't able to actually cut out all the sugar, but I can cut out at least 15 days of sugar. And so you want to be able to adjust your goal along the way, but you have to be going back to revise it, reevaluate it, and reflect on where you are. Crafting specific goals. Now, to craft these goals, I like to use the 5 W's to develop specific goals for writing. Okay, and you can use this process for any goal that you are trying to accomplish. Who is involved? Will it be just you? Will it be an editor? Now, I'm using a book, but you can put anything here that you want. Who is involved? Will it be just you? Do you need an editor? Do you need people that are going to vet your book and give you feedback on your book before you go to publishing? So those are the things that you need to think about. What do I need to do? What do I want to accomplish? And this is where you want to be very, very detailed. Okay. And I just put here for an example a finished manuscript. Where are you going to where are you going to be doing this writing? Where is it going to take place? Am I going to be doing it at home? Am I going to do it at the library? Am I going to do it at a coffee shop? Am I going to go sit in the park? So where are you going to do this writing? And then it's very, very important that you establish a time frame of how long it's going to take for you to accomplish this goal. For me, I put 6 months, 30 minutes a day. And then at the end of that 6 months and along the way, I'm going to celebrate every time I get finished with a chapter. I'm going to celebrate because I made it through that 30 days. So that should be at least 1 or 2 chapters, depending on how fast you write. Okay. And so you want to celebrate the small steps along the way. And then identify your time constraints. Identify what is required for you to do anything that you want to do. Do I have to research? What am I specifically going to do? Okay, so maybe it is you want to start a business. You can't just jump into a business without researching the type of business that you want to start. You got to look at the area where you want to put it. You have to look at the demographics of it. You have to look at the market economy. And so there's a lot of things that you have to do before you can open your business. And so along the way on your goal sheet, these are steps that you should be putting and giving yourself a time frame in order to open that business. Are you looking for a new job? Well, what is it that you're doing to prepare yourself for the new job that you want? Have you updated your resume? Have you put that on your goal sheet? When will that be done? How long will it take? Does someone need to look at my resume to make sure that I don't have any mistakes, to make sure that it's engaging and eye-catching, and that I'm not using a lot of verbiage that doesn't need to be there, but I have the buzzwords that they want for the job that I'm applying for? Okay, and then research the companies that you want to apply for. So you're not just clicking on different jobs that you think that you want, but actually researching those companies so that you can have a little bit more background before you actually apply. Because if you're like me, I've been in a lot of positions where I was like, oh, I don't even like this job. I don't even like this company. They don't even stand for the things that I stand for. So it's very important for you to do your homework before you just go jumping into certain things. And then, why is this important to you? Give specific reasons why this is important. What purpose are you trying to accomplish? Who is it going to benefit? Okay, because what I know about setting goals, we're more apt to do the things that we like to do and do the things that we want to do if it is in our best interest. Okay, and so that is the whole purpose for me starting Ruby Mac Learning Academy, because I'm just not satisfied with the way things are going in the school system. So I chose to do something about it. I'm an educator, and I've been an educator for over 17 years. And so now I've chose to do something about it. Who is it going to benefit? It's going to benefit children. It's going to benefit families. And so those things are important when you're thinking of why you want to do this. Everybody on this line tonight has a book inside of them. Okay, everybody. There's not one person on this webinar tonight that does not have a book inside of them. So what kind of book can you write? What audience can you write to? What are you an expert in that you can actually write a book to that particular genre? Okay, so I want you to think about that as well. And then, so my first book was supporting African American boys developing their self-esteem and self-worth, and that's who it was going to benefit. creating or crafting measurable goals. Now, again, you cannot just create a goal and then there's no way to measure that goal. You must be able to measure that goal. And when you craft your goal, it is to establish concrete criteria for measuring progress toward the achievement of each goal you set. When you measure your progress, you stay on track, you reach your target dates, and you experience the excitement of small accomplishments that encourages you to continue to reach your goal. So as you set your goal and you reach a certain point on your checklist, then you can celebrate. You can actually celebrate this accomplishment that you have reached this point, this pivotal point on your goal sheet, and you're moving along the continuum to reach the finish line. So completing your checklist makes your job a whole lot easier. And you see Lawrence Fishburne, I got this from The Matrix. What if I told you completing your checklist makes your job a whole lot easier? So when you craft measurable goals, the M in SMART states that there should be a source of information to measure or determine whether a goal has been achieved. The M is a direct or possibly indirect gauge of what success for a particular goal will look like. To determine if your goal is measurable, ask questions such as how much, how many, or how long? How will I know when it is accomplished? And so if you don't know those things, it's a possibility that you're never going to finish the goal that you started and put in place. You have to be able to have a start date. You have to be able to have an end date, and you have to be able to say at certain points, I'm going to stop and I'm going to check to see if I've actually reached that point where I can move along. And if not, you may need to readjust your goal. That means maybe that your goal was too broad, it wasn't realistic, it wasn't attainable. And so now you have to readjust, reflect, reevaluate, and then just make the adjustments accordingly. The A in SMART. When you do attainable goals, you identify goals that are most important to you. Remember, it has to be important to you. Otherwise, you're never going to accomplish it. If it's something that you really don't want to do, or you just getting on the bandwagon because someone else is doing it, that is not something for you. A goal is something that is important to you, and it's going to benefit you or the people around you, your community, a country or nation, a state. And so you want to be thinking in terms of that. Begin to figure out ways you can make them come true. When you begin to have a growth mindset, that is important. A growth mindset. Many times we talk ourselves out of not being able to do certain things. We think that we're not capable, we're not qualified, that we are not worthy of doing these things or experiencing success. But I'm here to tell you that you are able and worthy to experience success if you actually put this process into place. So the impossible, as you see on my little picture here, becomes possible. The unattainable now becomes attainable because you changed your mindset and you've developed a growth mindset, which is your attitude. You write down all the abilities that you have and all the skills that you have and the tools that you have and the capacity that you have to reach them. And let me tell you this, if you know that you're weak in certain areas, but you have this goal, then that's when you start getting resources. You start reaching out to the people that can help you. Remember that who on the specific, that is when you say, oh, I need this person, I need that person to be in place. I need to reach out to Marie because I know that Marie has done this. Maybe she can help me. And you have to do your research. The things you disregarded become new opportunities. And I love this. The things you disregarded, things that you have in your notebook, on your vision board from years and years ago, and you said, oh, this is never going to come to fruition. This is never going to happen. Now you have a new attitude. You have a new mindset. Now it becomes a new opportunity to bring yourself closer to achieving your goals. So now you can see it as a new opportunity. Okay, and bringing that opportunity that you put on the back burner, that you said, oh, it's not going to happen. Maybe you tried it before and it didn't happen. Maybe it just wasn't time then. Maybe now is the time. And I can tell you right now, in 2020, even during this pandemic, now is the time. Now is the time to put the things that you've been holding back on, that you put on the back burner, that you had on your vision board. Now is the time to jumpstart those things, to put those goals back into rotation and back into the forefront of your mind and make them possible. I hope I'm helping somebody tonight. When you craft attainable goals, it feels like it might not be reachable, but with proper planning and creating a time frame, again, I'm going to keep honing in on that time frame because that's important. If you don't have a time frame, then it might not be important enough for you. Okay, so with proper planning and creating a time frame, your goals that were so far-fetched and seemed unreachable become closer and more tangible. Goals that may have seemed far away and out of reach eventually move closer and closer and closer and become reachable. Look at our little guy on these steps. Look at his mindset. I won't do it. But he moved up to another step. I can't do it, but he moved up to another step. I want to do it. You see how his language began to change? You see how he began to have a different mindset? Look at him standing up straight now. Now he's on the next step saying, how do I do it? Okay? And now, look, he's getting a little pep in his step. I'll try to do it. Now he's getting real excited. I can do it. And now I will do it. And now he's reached his final step. I did it. And that is how I felt, guys, when I wrote my first book. I was like, oh my God, when I saw the proof copy in my hands, I said, oh my God, I did it. When I started doing my business plan for Ruby Mac Learning Academy, and I had my first board of directors meeting, and then I had all of my things in place, and I got my certificate from the state of Georgia, and then I got my tax exempt status from the IRS. I was like, oh my God, this is really happening. I was afraid. Let me tell you, everything you might be afraid, but do it afraid. Do it in your fear. And as you're doing it in your fear, let me tell you, God is going to be there every step of the way that you're doing it in your fear. And the next thing you know, you can stand on this step, just like our little guy right here. Yes, I did it. And you see down at the bottom, it says, which step have you reached today? And so every day you should be looking at your goals. Put them on your refrigerator. Put them somewhere that you got to pass by every day, okay? I have mine in my bathroom, and so I can pass by that every day because I have to go in there every day, okay? Look what it says. When you have a growth mindset, your goals don't shrink. Your goals didn't shrink, but you grow and you develop to match them. You grow and you develop to match your goal. So if there's an area that you need to develop in, That's where your research comes in. That's where you begin to obtain books. You go on, now we got social media. You can go on YouTube to find different things and learn different things. You can do all sorts of things to get the information that you need to be successful. There's no excuse anymore. Now is the time. I'm going to say that again. Now is the time to put the things that you want to do into motion. Don't allow the fear to stop you. Do it afraid. And watch God work everything out in your favor. And so we went over SMART, part of SMART. S, specific. Be very specific about your goal. M, make sure that it's measurable. A, make sure that you can attain it. Okay, don't make a goal that you know you can attain. You saw in our video, the young guy, he started at 100 pull-ups, and then in the middle of him trying to work out, he realized, hey, this 100 is way too difficult for me. And you see, I told you it's a living, working document. So he changed his goal to 10 pull-ups. And when he was able to effectively do those 10 pull-ups, he went to his next goal and made it 20. Okay, so baby steps. No need to rush all the way to the end, even though you're going to begin with the end in mind. But in the process, you have to start small. So you begin with the end in mind. Hey, I want to write this book. I want to write it in 6 months. But now, what are my steps to write this book in the 6 months? Okay, I'm going to write 30 minutes a day. I'm going to dedicate 30 minutes every day in my schedule to write. Uninterrupted, no phone, no TV. I'm just going to write. So to be realistic, a goal must represent an objective toward which you are both, this is so important, guys, both you are willing and able to work. To be realistic, it must be something that you are willing and able to work. You got to be willing to do it. You got to be able to do it. Otherwise, you're going to be like these people trying to get on top of this mountain. That's not realistic. They're coming from the ground, trying to get on top of the mountain. You see, that's not realistic. The little steps are falling apart. And so it's not very realistic. Okay, so I want you to make sure that things that you're doing are realistic. And we got a little chat. Oh, you're so welcome. Somebody said, this is so good. I hope it's helping you tonight. I really do. Goals should be high level enough to incorporate the outcomes for which you want to accomplish, but specific and clear enough so you will be able to measure success. Don't make your goals so high that you still down on the ground and you reaching up trying to catch it, because that's when the discouragement comes in. That's when you feel like, oh my God, I'm just never gonna get this. That's when you on this ledge right here, you grasping on, trying not to fall down to the ground, and you realize, oh my God, this goal was so out there, it wasn't relevant. It wasn't realistic. It wasn't attainable because I didn't make it specific enough and I didn't measure it. So you have to make sure that you're willing to do the work. You have to make sure you're willing to do the work. Put the work in, guys. And when you put the work in, you're going to see results. Look at athletes. Athletes have goals. They make a plan. They don't just get up in the morning and say, I'm going to go on this basketball court and I'm going to have 60 points during the game. No, they practice. They practice for hours. They have a set regiment. They have set things that they do at specific times, and they have an end time. Okay, and so I want you to think about that as you're developing your goal. Make it specific and be detailed as possible and make it a baby goal. Don't do something that you know you're not going to be able to reach. It has to be realistic. To determine if your goal is realistic, ask yourself questions. Do I truly believe that I can accomplish this? Can I reach the goal in the time frame that I gave myself? So if you said, I'm going to write a book. Well, when you going to write the book? I'm going to write a book in 2 days. Is that realistic? These are the things that you need to ask yourself. Is it realistic? Oh, I'm going to open this business. Well, how are you going to open this business? Do you have the capital? Do you have the network? Do you know where you're going to put this business? Or are you just, oh, I'm going to use social media to get this business popping? Okay, well, yeah, you started that business, you got on social media, and it's not doing exactly what you thought it was going to do. And so now you got to go back and actually do the steps. Put a business plan in place. See how you're going to launch your business. Okay, who do you need in your corner to help you launch your business? Do you have friends and family that are going to support your business? And I can tell you right now, don't count on friends and family. The people really that are going to support you are people probably that you don't even know. Okay, so don't get all in your feelings when your families and friends don't really support you, because it's just the nature of the beast. Don't just get in your feelings, because it's going to be people that you don't even know. Yes, you're going to have some friends and family support you, but everybody ain't going to support you, and everybody ain't going to like what you do, and everybody won't want what you are pushing out there or producing, and that's all right. You got to realize that you ain't for everybody. And what you're doing is not for everybody, but there is a specific clientele that you can reach, and you got to find out who that specific clientele is. Okay, do I have checkpoints in place? Is it measurable? Can I recognize the circumstances that would have to exist to accomplish this goal? Look at my picture. Do I have wishful thinking? Ooh, I sure wish this worked. Or do I have realistic ideas? So these are the things that you need to think about. Am I just wishing upon a star, or do I really have concrete, realistic ideas that I'm going to put in place? Okay. And then our last thing is to craft timely goals. A goal should have a specific time frame. With no time frame tied to it, there's no sense of urgency or commitment. Hence why I never did anything with that vision board. And if you did something with your vision board, go ahead, pop it in the chat and let me know that you did something with your vision board. Or are those vision boards in the trash right now? Or they in your garage? Are they sitting somewhere and you still waiting for them to come to fruition? I can tell you right now, I never did anything with my vision board. Why? Because I didn't put anything into action. You cannot just look at the vision. You have to write the vision down. You have to make it plain. Okay, for it to come to pass, you got to write it down. You have to make it plain. And then you have to take steps to get from point A to point B. Look at our lady here. When is this supposed to happen? Do you have a time frame? So I'm telling you, it must be timely. You must have some dates attached to when this is going to happen. When do you want to accomplish your goal? Next year or someday? That won't work, because there's no real time frame. You just threw something in the air, but there's no specific date attached to it. But if you anchor it within the time frame, say I want to complete it by June 28th, 2021, or maybe you want to accomplish something by January 31st, 2021, now you have set your goal. Now your mind is prepared to meet that goal in that time frame. And now you can backtrack, and now you can put steps in place to get to January 2021 or to get to June 28, 2021. So maybe you want to have checkpoints every month along the way. It just depends on what you want to do. Someone said, yes, I'm working on mine each year and I'm updating it for the ending of the year when I take off 2 months for reflection for the new year. Oh, that is so awesome. I love it. And you see, you have to reflect, you have to reevaluate, and you have to be able to make those adjustments that you need to make along the way. So that is perfect. I thank you for that comment. T can also stand for not only timely, but it can also stand for a tangible goal. Okay, a goal is tangible when you can taste it, when you can touch it, when you can smell it, when you can see it, or when you can hear it. Guys, when I first put my book in my hands, I could touch it, I could see it, I could hear it because I could read it to myself. Children were reading it to me. Do you know how much that made me feel so happy? It made me feel like, wow, I could actually accomplish this. I actually did it. That meant that now I felt empowered. I felt like I was unstoppable now. All those fears that were flooding my head, all of those lies that I was feeding my own self, they began to diminish. Okay, it began to diminish. And how did I get there? Because I had some goals that I set and I was determined to meet those goals. You got to be determined to meet your goal. You got to be determined to put in the work that it takes to get you from point A to point B. When your goal is tangible, you have a better chance of making it specific and measurable and attainable. Though that is the whole process of a SMART goal, making it specific, making it measurable, making it attainable, realistic, and relevant, because you don't want to just put anything out there that's not relevant for the times that we're living in. So you want it to not only be realistic, but you want it to also be relevant. And then you want it to be timely and tangible. So those things you definitely want to do. All right, someone said they wrote a book, but it wasn't on their vision board and they're waiting on it to be proofread and need a book cover. And so now that is your next step. How are you going to get that accomplished? Who are you researching to do your book cover? Who's going to do the proofreading? Have you gotten a little group together that you trust to read your product to give you feedback before you even publish the book? Maybe once you get the feedback, then you'll say, okay, this wasn't really going over with the audience. Maybe I need to change some things. Maybe I need to go back and reevaluate what I have. But these things are important when you're doing whatever it is you're doing, especially writing a book, and especially if it is a non-fiction book. You definitely want to even if it's a fiction book, you definitely want to have a little core group that you trust with your prized possession to be able to give you the feedback that you need, because you don't want to put something out there that is not going to be good enough for the people that you're trying to reach. And you want people that are going to be honest with you to tell you, okay, I like this part, but this part was a little weak, or you could really use to, drum this up a bit. I need a little more action here. And just give you honest feedback about your product. Maybe you're making juices. Maybe you're making beauty products. You can't just put out a beauty product in 1 month. That stuff needs to be tested. It needs to be tried. You need to get feedback. You need to make sure your product is working correctly before you start trying to push that out onto the shelves. So these are things to think about. If you're starting a business, what kind of business are you starting? Where are you going to put it? Who's going to be your clientele? What is the market saying about this business? What is the price point that I want to sell my product that I'm selling for my business? Should I do this business? Just because someone else is doing that same business doesn't mean that you can't do it. They're not going to do it the same way that you're doing it. And so there's enough business for everyone to get a piece of the pie. You just have to know who is your clientele. Who are you going to market to? Who's going to buy your product? Okay. And so those are things that you definitely have to research. Do your research, do your due diligence before you do anything else. That's going to be important. Now, I love this quote by Benjamin E. Mays. Failure isn't in not reaching your goal, but in having no goal to reach. I'm going to say that again because every time I look at this quote, it just does something to me. Failure isn't in not reaching your goal, but in having no goal to reach. So it's not because you can't reach it. It's just because you haven't started it. You haven't written it down. You haven't made a plan of action. And once you do those things, you're going to feel so much better as you start checking them off on your checklist. Man, I made it to this month and I was able to accomplish this. I actually lost more than those 3 pounds that I said I was going to lose in that first month from May to June. So now from June to July, I'm going to say that I'm going to lose 5 pounds. And so I'm going to keep reevaluating my goal, and I'm going to take baby steps to reach my goal. I think a lot of times where we fall down is because we want things quickly and we fail to plan. And when we fail, this is a quote, I can't remember who said it, but when we fail to plan, we plan to fail. I'm going to say that again. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that is an actual quote. I can't remember who wrote it, but that is an actual quote. And so it's not in reaching your goal, because everybody can reach their goals, but you have to have a goal to reach and you have to plan accordingly. All right. And so remember to craft your SMART goals. They must be specific. They must be measurable. They must be attainable. They must be a realistic or relevant goal, and they must be timely. And they can even be tangible: touch, taste, smell, hear. And so all of those things you want to consider when you're crafting your SMART goals. SMART goals, and this is a quote by yours truly, me. Goal setting is your roadmap to success. Without it, you are just going to and fro with no end in sight. So dream big. Yes, dream big. But as you're dreaming big, set your goals. Set them smaller and then move along the continuum. Take action and watch your goals come to fruition. And so it's very capable of meeting and accomplishing your goals. But what are your plans to accomplish those goals? It's just like being on a road, and the road never ends. And so you don't see the end in sight. And that's what causes the discouragement. So I said this was going to be an hour. I really, really, really thank you so much for participating in this webinar. At the end of the webinar, this will take you to a screen to fill out a survey for me, and it will also be emailed to you. If you're not following me, please follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Marie S. Boatwright and at Ruby Mac Learning Academy. And on Facebook, you can follow me at Ruby Mac Academy and Ruby Mac Learning Academy, Inc. I really, really would appreciate if you would donate to my organization to help children. And I am going to put the link into the chat for you if you are willing to donate. I really, really would appreciate it. We got some comments here. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me your questions in the question and answer box. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you enjoyed this webinar and that I hope it was really helpful for you and that you gain a wealth of knowledge from it. And I am just going to drop my link to my organization in the chat. And if you would consider giving my organization a donation, I would really appreciate it. You're not obligated to do it, but I would really appreciate you thinking about it. And if you don't do it today, that is fine. You can always do it another time by going directly to my website, Ruby Mac Learning Academy, and the donate button is there. And it is available. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to copy it to here for you. So I apologize. I'm not sure why it wasn't working, but I got it now. All right, and if you don't have any questions, I thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you learned a lot and you got a lot out of this webinar. I have placed the link into the chat. I don't know when I will have another class and what it will be on, but I will definitely let you guys know what is coming around the corner. I try to have something every other month. My last webinar was teaching your child to read from meaning. If you missed it, it is on YouTube. You can catch it on YouTube. I did put it on YouTube, and this also, I will send you this so you can review this webinar also, and it will also be on YouTube as well. And so I really enjoyed my time with you, and I hope you enjoyed your time with me. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I thank you for all your comments. And I really, I'm excited, and I hope if you came tired that you're now excited. Thank you. Someone wrote, thank you for your wealth of knowledge. This was helpful. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, Lori. God bless you too, and to you as well for your future endeavors. And again, there will be a survey at the end of this webinar, and it will also be emailed to you for the follow-up email if you don't get the survey at the end of this webinar. Thank you and have a wonderful evening. And I will see you real, real soon. I love you and you can't do anything about it. Good night.